For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe.
I had the pleasure of hearing Obama in person. This is a few months ago before, of course, it became such a celebrity. And he did use that the statement about good judgment, but he used it against Bush at that time, which is kind of interesting. Of course, he's no longer, this is no longer an issue. Bush is no longer an issue. It's other people now. But I'm just wondering, if we talk about real basics, really basics, and again, going back to the voters, when they're going to go in that booth and nobody else is going to see or hear what they're thinking or what they're doing. This is the first time that a woman is running for president in this country, something which has never happened before, and it's the first time that a black is wondering if this is what the people are going to be thinking about, rather than those wonderful issues of integrity and the good judgment that he has and whatever Hillary Clinton is standing for. Isn't that going to be an important issue? Sort of the raw basics.
The cool thing about Barack, and I'm saying this just out of fairness, is that we've had several candidates that are African American. Shirley Chisholm, Jesse Jackson, win, Jesse, win. That's all we heard in the 80s. You know, we've had Al Sharpton, but Barack Obama is the first African American candidate that has the ability to cross over into the mainstream. And that's very important. I mean, this is an African-American man who has won the hearts. People aren't looking at him so much because of the fact that he's African-American. They're looking at his message.
It isn't being recognized that Hillary Clinton has a 30-year reputation for women's rights. And when I was back there marching for ERA and doing things in the women's movement, Hillary started then working for women's rights and working with the Children's Defense Fund, and to mothers and grandmothers and a lot of wives in this country, and if we look at the majority are women in this country, I think there's a lot of appeal there when she gets to the issues of education and health, et cetera, where she's going to be extremely strong, not because of the last 10 years and not because her husband was president, but because she has a 30-year, very strong record on women's and children's rights. I think that for me to move away from the Hillary Clinton, because I believed in all she did, is a hard one. But I think Barack Obama represents to me hope and change. And Hillary is now beginning to resemble someone who owes too many favors and who has been in this game too long. And therefore, I'm skeptical about what I thought she would be bringing to the office, because I think there is so much of a political game going on, and Barack Obama represents change and a whole new kind of hope. But I think, going back to your first statement, why doesn't he come out and say more about oil in Iraq and what the true issue is with corporate money? I think that, and what you said about he's playing it too safe, I think that's really, if you're asking what he could do or what he might do or what he wants to hear from people about what issues to take up, I think he really has to set himself apart by taking much bigger risks. I know these are going to sound maybe not like your issues, but these are two of mine, and I would love a candidate to say, we're going to stop talking about nuclear energy until we figure out what to do with nuclear waste. Yucca Mountain didn't work, and we have no place to put it, and we're putting it in the ground so that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to have to deal with radioactive sites all over this country. Nobody's talking about this move towards nuclear energy, and yet no man yet has an answer of what you're going to do with radioactive waste. I would like somebody to say to the Islamic fundamentalists, you believe in martyrdom, wonderful. Then why don't you grown men go and commit suicide and stop sending 14-year-olds? What is it about your culture? And make cowards out of these adult men that are training their children to go commit suicide so they can hang some picture up on their wall and say that my son was a martyr. I just think that there has to be more provocative issues brought forward. Those two are happen to be a couple of mine. You mentioned oil, somebody else who mentioned something else. I just think he's playing it too safe, and I don't blame him. But by playing it too safe, he's not showing his strength and his guts and his ability to do more than inspire, because he's going to have to do more than inspire.
I think this is very important, Women for Obama, because they assume that all women are for Hillary Clinton.
That's true.
Not true.
The Obama that I want to see the nasty of the nasties, and I haven't seen it yet. You know?
What do you mean, nasty of the nasty?
Tell it like it is.
I mean, I want a guy. I mean, I want to see how tough he is, and I have not seen him in a dogfight, and I need to see him in a dogfight.
No.
You know, these guys talk about what they're going to do, what needs to be done, rather, but no one talks about how they're going to get it done.
Why do you want to see him in a dogfight?
Well, I want to see how tough he is. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how tough this guy is. I mean, he didn't have to do anything to become senator from Illinois. I mean, he beat some clown. You know.
He is really all of us. He is the American.
Of light and builders of nations, we're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We're makers of peace and wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings.